Copper prices rebounding 3% today after falling more than 30% over the past 3 months. I say good news. It's seen as an economic indicator. And my next guest says there could be more gains to come. And if so, what does that mean for oil and other commodities? Joining me now is Carter Worth. He is the founder and CEO of Worth Charting. All right, you were early on this, Carter. You were right. Where are we going from here?
Well, you know, sometimes it just gets too stretched in one direction. Forget about, in this case, that it was down, and sometimes it's too far up. Think what oil did, right? And then you do get mean reversion. Very hard to time it, and you get them wrong all the time. This one is bouncing nicely. Let's just look at a chart or two. I mean, copper was down 37% from its peak to trough, and we've got a bounce today. I think it can carry. And in general, just as commodities were loved 3, 4, 5 months ago, now they're sort of hated. And so I think, again, you take the road less traveled and play for a bounce.
Right. And I know that you're looking at the charts, but I'm going to kind of press you from the macro piece of this. My point being, you were also correct to call the top in energy when you called the top in energy. So would you want to go out on a limb and add this up and say maybe the whole complex is at another higher inflection point, or is this really more copper specific?
I think that's fair. I mean, we had some fun together, obviously, looking at energy at the top, and it was quite steep. And then if there is something as equal and opposite reaction, these are things that are quite steep to the downside. And so you do get bounces. The first thing to say is it would be very hard, of course, to recoup the losses and make new highs. So I think that's out of the question. Copper's not going to make new highs anytime in the next year or more. And I would say, well, those highs are in as well. But what we do know is that it's overdone, and that you can get a bounce that should carry and energy. And it all is, of course, associated with the dollar being too stretched, and that, too, is mean reverting.
True. So weaker dollar helps support crude, copper. And I like what you're saying. I want to make sure everyone caught it, which is that we might not be back at those highs for a year, for more. I mean, could we be at basically a plateau now? And we'll let, others think through the implications for the inflation rate. But do you think we could flatten out here for some time?
I think that's pretty good. Now, obviously, if we really go into a proper recession, you have cyclical assets, high beta, if you will, very sensitive to economic winds that will get worse. But even if, I would just say it this way, even if copper is going to go much lower from here, the path lower passes through a higher price. It's just overdone on an intermediate basis.
All right, so you're not ruling out that we could see another leg down. Parting thought, comment about the market overall, Carter. Ari Wald just said he thinks we're at a bottom, basically at a bottom here, at a bottoming process, while others remain worried that we're going to have this next shoe to drop.
Well, there are unfilled gaps above, and I think in the S&P that's really 4,030, 4,050. So the bounce that's been underway for a month, the lows are June 16, June 17. Here we are mid-July, and I think the bounce continues.
Okay. Carter, thanks for your time today.
You bet.